It's a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today. I'm B-Ron. Alongside me, as always, for the morning is my co-host Yells. Yells, good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Little quick behind the scenes, guys. I was gonna start this show about saying how I beat a hangover from having a late night in the early morning, but a little fun this morning behind the scenes. Maybe I did not beat the hangover so well. So all the fans aren't gonna get that, but yeah, it was a little crazy this morning. I'm doing good though. B-Run yourself.
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. But man, you know what? You know who's not doing okay?
Uh oh.
The Indy Stripes. They're not doing all right. Not doing okay right now because Coach Shirogane came in, took over. We know that the new owner, Daytona Davis, came in, took over. Thought, okay, this is the start of something new, something good for the organization. But apparently, Coach Shirogane has other plans because if he keeps doing what he's been doing, he's gonna be Shiro gone pretty soon.
I love the wordplay there by production team. Um, yeah, we don't have a whole lot of info on this. I do what I do know is there's another coach who shall remain nameless, but with lots of love. He got into it. He got into it with his owner for various reasons, warranted or unwarranted. He was vacated from his role with the team,
Yeah.
and now he's landed another gig. But it's ownership. Coach Shirogane, he's only been on the team for what?
A few weeks.
Even I'm not even sure if it's a few weeks at this point. Maybe he was announced maybe a week or so ago. So you definitely can't be bumping heads with the ownership this early. And I always go
No.
back to the same thing that I said when we were talking about Coach Lovelace. Accidentally said his name. My bad. When we were talking about Coach Lovelace, right or wrong, when you're going at it with ownership, particularly at the prep level, things are different at the NBA levels where there's legacy. You've built some things, and even then, I think it still comes into play. But when it comes to ownership, you can't butt heads with the guys that are paying your salary. Right? You can't bump heads with the
No.
guys that are cutting the check, that had whatever belief in you and brought you. You're the reason. They're the reason you're there. They hired you. So it's always a tough thing, but yeah, it has to be a partnership. But if at any point, if that partnership, whatever went on, if that partnership and communication goes astray and the ownership would like to go a different direction, that's the direction you have to go.
Yeah. Right.
Right? Unless you're at the point where you can foot the bill for things, you have to course correct there. So, not sure what's going on. He's come in, he's made some waves immediately, and I'll hand it back over to you. I think the unfortunate part about it, regardless of what's going on, if things smooth over or not, here we are talking about the Indy Stripes and some turmoil again. I think that's the bigger picture. This
Yeah.
organization at the prep level, very early on, is starting to make a name for itself.
Yeah, and that's not only going to affect your own standing as an organization, but also going to affect recruits wanting parents for that matter in the big picture. Parents, of these kids are going to say, you know what? I don't think we need to go. We need to go play here. And it's even worse if you're from Indiana from Indiana, like you know your hometown, your home state team is dysfunctional. Parents are gonna be, doing the whole, shove them along, shove the kids along. No, nothing to see here. Keep moving, because they don't want to be there. Uh, but but yeah, we don't know much about the situation right now. We know that there was communication and it's gone bad verbally. I don't know what exactly was said, was done, that kind of thing, but the point is, it's enough for us to be talking about it
Yeah,
in the first segment of the show this morning. So
yeah.
it must have been something bad. So maybe
It's
we can get some more
not
info
great.
on it later in the day. Obviously, right? Yeah, it's certainly not good.
Not the
Certainly not
reason
good.
you want to be in the news as a new head coach. Yeah, I guess
No.
that's what we'll say. And yo, man, I remember back when I stayed on the East Coast, and primarily spent my time over there. I always find it funny that we have all this drama coming out of the Indiana area, and then even the stuff that goes on at the or that went on with the Riot House and the Heartland Zombie Stars. When I was
Yeah.
out on the East Coast, man, when we wanted to get away from all the chaos and all the drama and all the craziness, we went out to Indiana. We would take that trip and we go to Indiana and we go to Akron in Ohio. That's
Yeah.
where we would escape all the drama. How is there so much popping in this area right now? Um,
No
I just
idea,
find
man.
that comical.
Your guess is as good as mine.
It's the
Ah,
Lalo area, B-Ron. What's happening,
yeah.
man?
No idea. Look, I like the lay low myself. So all this is wild to me. Can't be me getting involved in drama. Absolutely not.
Well, hey, Coach Shiragane, hope you get it together. Whatever's going on there with the squad, I hope you and ownership get it together because Indy Stripes are really much so in need of some stability, some consistency, and great leadership. I think that's more primary than even wins for them at this point is establishing a culture. So, good luck to you, sir. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, we'll keep moving, man.
Yeah.
What's new with Hugo? We haven't heard much. He took the league by storm last season. We know who our
Right.
we know who the faces of our league are. We continuously talk about the Trey Hymans, the Arthur Lattimores, the Benari James, the Renzo Bryants, Gabe Popes, Corey Am, so on and so forth. The big names in SimWorld Prep who really helped
Right.
put SimWorld Prep on the map and put themselves on the map. To be quite frank. But then, yeah, Nick Hugo was not a huge name and just kind of showed up out of nowhere and
Yeah.
took the league by storm. League leader or excuse me, had the league record in blocks. Hugo Mania was running wild on everyone, like Hulkamania, right? Just for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Then we hear that he's headed out of the DMV, and I know this is your stomping ground, B-Ron. He's headed out of the DMV, and then we don't really hear much else. And maybe it's good that we don't, but what's the deal with that? What is the speculation? What are you thinking is going on here? Is it just quiet, or is something on the home front?
So, so there is something going on. Um, it involves Queen City.
Oh,
Um, but I don't think I want to say any more than that right now. I did speak to Coach Skinny Washington earlier this morning, and he did tell me some things. He did say, he's been in contact with Nick Hugo, because we do know that Lorenzo Bryant and Carter Fields, both formerly of Heartland, are now joining Coach Skinny in Queen City.
yeah.
So we know that much as well. Do know that Hugo is in contact and has been staying in consistent contact. Trying to say that 3 times fast with Nick Hugo. But that is about that is the one thing that we do know, and I'm not at liberty to share any more than that.
Well, I think that's more than enough, sir. If
Yeah.
if Hugo's able to land there, you got people forget about Sky Durant, 6'7",
Right.
skinny, lanky kid. But he had his last name is Durant, and his game resembled that. He was a bright spot for that team last season, along with Madison Miles, who's now gone. You bring in Carter Fields, who runs the floor like a gazelle and throws it down like a hammer, right? You got Renzo, who's been drastically improving and showing all that offensive bag and always had the defensive prowess, great leader. And then you throw in a motor like Hugo, that would be, that would feel real
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah, right?
You got Petey Pablo's gonna be at the games, like just showing up, throwing a bandana around. You have to get kicked out. That's crazy. Okay, so there are some things on the horizon. People are just kind of laying low, and now you put it on blast.
Yes. Yeah, there are some things going on. It's quiet, but it's quiet for a reason.
Yeah,
Not
Hey,
anymore though.
and that's how things
Digging for
go.
the
I'm
story
sure.
though. Look, hey, reporters, we go, we dig for stories. I was questioning it last night, and I was like, I haven't heard anything about Nick Hugo in a while, and what's going on with that? So I decided to reach out, shoot a message, and we got some information. So hey,
Yeah,
we
I'm
doing
sure
digging
there's a
for
lot of
stories.
suitors though. So we'll see what
Oh yeah,
happens. So that's a possible destination. You heard it.
yeah,
You heard it this morning right here on SimWorld today. So there you go.
yep,
And if
yep.
it does play out, that is exciting prospect to me to be a potential landing spot.
Absolutely. That's so exciting, and it makes me happy to hear that. In a way, I'm disheartened that Hugo is gone from DMV, obviously,
Yeah.
but you know, I was expecting him to maybe go join Beast of the East since they're in Virginia and that's where he's from. But
I
maybe
mean,
that's not.
anything's
Maybe that's
possible though. Be wrong.
right.
I
Yeah,
think
true.
one of the things that we talk about before we head into this next segment is just because
Yeah,
teams, or players decommitted or what you want to call from a team, they may
yeah,
end up right back there. I mean, you got to go through families, people uprooting. We talk about it all the time. Them having to
right. Yeah,
move, having to relocate if the team has the funds to bring them in. These kids still have to be have to have a spotlight on them, a place to showcase their talents so they can get to college. So, you may want to go across the globe or whatever you want to do now, but ultimately, just play ball, man. Get on team,
hmm
play ball. You're gonna get to college. You're gonna get that opportunity to see what your open value is, or your value is on the open market, and then even more so when you get to the NBA, because that's what always happens. There's always a big fish in a little pond, and then that fish gets even smaller in a smaller pond, and then you get to
yeah.
the NBA and you realize that you're a league minimum guy, right? At
Right.
least
Yep.
according to the NBA. So, and not saying that that's what Nick Hugo is,
Yeah. Right. For
just
comparison's sake. Yeah.
hey.
I get you. I
But
get you
even
completely.
on that front, SimWorld Oceania, one of the best venues in all of SimWorld Prep. That outdoor court, man, that is on the water. That is just a beautiful
Certainly
thing.
unique.
Yeah.
I have had the pleasure of not being there yet, so
So you've not had the pleasure.
I am not a water guy. Going out there kind of concerns me, but like I'm sure it'll happen at some point. I'll have my floaties on.
Hey, well, hey,
Yeah, man.
they
So,
they got some they've got some stuff coming up. Cole Webb is he had mentioned early on that he would be out of SimWorld Oceania. He wanted to see if he could make his way stateside. He really was everything to that team. Richard Hennessy was there, and it looks like he's going to be headed near home. Those were the two focal points of that team. You had some other talent there.
right.
Do they continue to cultivate and hand the keys over to one of these other kids? Because every one of these teams in SimWorld Preppers, some of the top players in their area, right? So if you give them the
Yeah.
keys, we get to find out just exactly what they can do. So do they go look for more talent? Is there more talent in the down under on the home front, or do they deal with what they have there, or do they try and get Cole Webb back? Is that even a possibility? What do you see happening for Oceania?
So, honestly, as much as I would like to see Cole Webb go back, I feel like his mind is made up, if that makes sense. In the sense that, like, he said he wanted to go and try to come stateside to play, and that's what he's gonna do, no matter what, be it to his detriment or not. Um, so I think his mind is made up. I think he's gone, regardless. Hennessy, we know about him. We know about the whole, yacht club, yacht club thing, Psych and Oceano, Latin America. We know.
He
So
played him. He played him
yeah,
big time. That was
yeah,
crazy.
swerve at the last minute, sort of thing. But so look at the roster they have. Two players to me come to mind. Uh, Joe King Jr. and Latrell Mitchell. There's also Musa Machode there. uh, Jackson Whitlock, Travion Abbas,
Hey, Yavani
who,
Conwell.
yeah,
So we're talking about guys that can score. He
yep,
showed exactly what he's capable of. He just didn't have the keys. He's playing behind Cole Webb, and I'm
right.
sure Olson Myers, Coach Myers. Every time I say, I think of Oscar Mayer Wieners. That make me weird. Every time I say his name. But yeah, so what he was able to do with Rocky Mountain Monsters, while Coach Robinson was not there, even though he's reinserted. Yeah, Coach Myers got the most out of everyone all the
Yeah,
time. So I think that he'll identify who the actual talent is on this team. And Yavani Conwell, I think we all know he's a stud. So I think we'll see a big jump from him this season.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But they have a couple roster spots open. Was it four? Looks like here.
Yeah.
So if these guys here, maybe there's some starters in the roster you already have here. You just got to get four more kids to come in. and fill in maybe backup role, bench roles, whatever it is. But I I think that I think that losing Cole is going to hurt.
Well, no doubt.
Uh, but how much remains to be seen. Obviously, once we get to the season, we'll know more. Once things are finalized and all that stuff, we'll know a little bit more. But man, it's Olsen Myers has a tall task ahead of him, but I think it's on the challenge of getting that team ready to go.
Well, he has a knack for figuring out how to get it to work, but I think that
Yeah.
you're totally underselling, or maybe you're going the media route here and saying, "Hey,
Yes.
let's see how much of a gap Cole Webb's going to leave. It's going to
That's
be
exactly what I'm
huge.
doing. Yeah.
It's going to be huge. It's Cole Webb. He's one of the top 10 to 15 players in the world at the prep level right now. I think a lot of times we have to put this stuff back in perspective. We're talking about the top prep age level kids on the planet, not in your neighborhood, not in the state,
Right.
not in the states, in the world. So yeah, I think it's gonna be there's gonna be a big gap there. So it's gonna have to be done as a total team effort, and I think they have the right coach to try and facilitate that type of thing. But imagine if Cole Webb does come. You say he's done. Imagine if he does come back, and he really has the reins, and they bring in some other talent. So who knows, man?
Yeah. Look, been wrong before. We'll be wrong again, right?
Yeah, speak for yourself, sucker. No, I'm just joking.
He said I'm never
Just
wrong.
kidding.
Oh my goodness, that's good, man. So yesterday we had our Basketball Without Borders Asia game, and
Yeah.
that was a thriller, man.
Uh-huh.
Well, until it went to overtime, anyway. Until it went to overtime, and then it ended up not being as close. But the fact that it went into overtime, in my opinion, says a lot about the talent in that area. So, just wanted to get your thoughts on the game overall. Same thing we did for the Africa one yesterday.
Yeah, great game. Again, showcasing the talent. I think what we came to it at the beginning of last season as well, is that Asia is a prime location for basketball talent. We always know that things kind of fizzle out in the NBA with teams giving them an opportunity, but here at the prep level, they're getting that opportunity to be showcased, and they are putting on. And yeah, the stuff that we saw, I mean, for me personally, I've been a huge Victor Soto fan from day one, and I think he showed the world why. At least why I'm a fan of him yesterday. So it was incredible. I've also been a huge Devin Fields fan. Really crazy. Another one of those families where the parents may have been getting it in a short period of time. I mean, he's got like two more brothers that declared themselves eligible for SimWorld Prep, and they're all between 15 and 17. Math ain't mathin'. But yeah, Devin Fields. What a talented passer, man. We talked about recently. We talked about Zay Gore being the best passer in SimWorld Prep potentially. Devin Fields right there. He didn't have any assists, but you saw the playmaking in that game. And then I guess here's what I'll talk about.
Oliver West, man.
Oh yeah.
Oliver.
Go
West.
ahead, man. Yeah.
So I really liked what I saw from him. First of all, I knew like Oliver West in Japan. Like you said, math ain't math, but I don't know. That's a very American name. What do I know? Man? What do I know? Anyway, I do know his play on the court though was impressive.
Yes.
The defense saw from him.
He was on the glass. I mean, it was crazy.
Everywhere.
What's he like, 5'10"?
Yeah, small kid. Compared to some of these 6'2", 6'3", bigger players. There was a kid Fang out there who was doing really good too. Man, it's just one of those things where I get excited talking about it, the potential, and then I lose my train of thought because it's just everywhere all over the place. You know what I mean?
Well, look, I'll say the one thing that I was shocked by for all the positivity that we can say, Sung Chung Gu, where was he? It seemed like he wasn't even in the game. I thought that we would see him put the league, the world on notice, and that he would literally just do a double 360, 720 flip over a car in the game and dunk it on somebody's head. I think he scored like maybe 2 to 4 points total. He did not look aggressive there.
Mhm.
It was an interesting showing for him, in my opinion. So that's the other takeaway that I did have. But yeah, Oliver West, my goodness, Victor Soto, and Devin Fields, great showings. And Mayoto Rise, hopefully I'm saying his name
Yeah,
right. His
I believe it's
defense,
Toyota.
yeah, Miota, his defensively, we'll see what happens if he gets picked up by a squad. But defensively, he looked like a real problem. He was everywhere, absolutely
Yeah.
everywhere on the court.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'm hoping to see a lot of these kids make their way over to APAC this season. I
Hey,
know they're bringing back Victor Soto and a few others, but and there's only so many spots to go around, obviously. But they're in the area, so hopefully they'll find a way to make it work for whoever they can make it work with.
yeah,
So we'll see, man.
we shall
Um,
see.
we sure will. But
Coach
we
Matt, get
gotta
on your
talk,
job, Coach.
right? We gotta talk about Tyree Wells though, and the show, man.
Woo,
This kid's making waves,
woo.
and people are hyping him up. Louisiana kid, number 2, in the region, right behind Arthur Lattimore, who, as
Excuse
we
me.
know, is going to Lone Star to play. Tyree Wells, Gulf Coast lockdown, perhaps. I'm doing everything I can if I'm Coach Heesh to keep this kid local, because you can't let somebody like him get away.
He's a. I don't know if I want to call him a generational talent, but every now and then you get these kids that come around, and it's like, my goodness.
Hmm.
And this kid, he's huge, and he moves around the court with ease. You remember some of these highlights that we've seen, and I'm not a big let's base somebody's talent level or their potential level based on their dunks. Like I don't get down with that.
Right.
There's been a lot of dunkers. I remember at one point I thought Stromile Swift was going to be the next big thing because he would literally put people into the rim and break their arms if he could. But he was just a big guy that could dunk. But this kid, the way he moves effortlessly,
Yeah.
and how quick he is to go along with that power at only 16. I think he could be the next big sensation. And then like some of the stuff that we've seen that's gone viral,
Hmm. Yeah.
pickup games, scouting games, scrimmages, what have you. But it's insane. So yeah, you got to keep him home. But wherever he goes, he's going to be a major impact player.
He absolutely is, man. And with all that being said, we've made an impact on your day, hopefully, starting it off right, as always. Thank you for joining us here on SimWorld today. We appreciate it. And look, guys, you know the rules, man. You know how it is out here. You know how we do. Because the off season does not mean that you can't, in SimWorld, you can't see the game, be the game. We'll see y'all tomorrow.